Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to BCB Live. You know what? Pastel Drive Safe Dave today. Sporting the Easter egg. I love it,
It's
dude.
spring. It's spring. Yesterday and today, I'm bringing spring on. Here
You
it
are
comes.
bringing on. Hey, Hector, you got some competition. I'm just a fluorescent guy. I wear safety all the time. Is this considered Easter as well?
Safety's every season, sir.
Thank you. It was a test, and you passed, and you too can pass the safety test. But no, listen, hey, we are at 1 day of driving safe. You know, it's got to start sometime, but we are there. 1 day of driving safe, 11 days of the goal, getting out and look. It's important that we continue to focus on that. You see behind me right here, we're not ready yet for the show, so don't share this with anybody else. It is Thankful Thursday.
I'm thinking about getting some letters up there, and I just start to be, and we do
I can imagine what's going to go on now. You're going to be all over the place.
Van of white
like this.
I mean, I'll do the Van of white, turn in the letters.
But we do have this, and we're not going to use it yet today. But if we were, Buckle Up Bob could come in here and say, hey, here's the windy area right here. Avoid this area, and this area. And he can do all this thing, so you can't, I don't know if you can see the smiley face or not, but this is some of the stuff we're doing to kind of get this show ready for you, get it a little bit more effective. You just think about this, between this right here, the weather, the ability we have to look at the traffic, we're going to be able to give y'all so much better information, not having to use the slides as much either, right? Just using real information. It's going to be freaking awesome. We're excited. We're pumped up. We got some lighting still coming in. We have a lot to do. Obviously, the paint will go away. This foam will go away as well.
I don't even know what this box is. But it's cool. They got, this is also going to be very interactive with you being able to do presentation, trends, slides, all kinds of cool stuff for educational purposes. Being able to work with it, I can't wait. And I was sitting here like a new kid in a candy store, looking at the different equipment. The pole for the lightings are going up. It looks like,
and make sure. Listen, those poles are for lighting only, lighting purposes only. Drive safe, no dancing, okay? No dancing with those poles.
You never know. If there's money coming out, there might be there might be a few moves.
All right, let's talk a little bit about news. Drive safe. Let's. What do you want to open it up with? You're my news guy. Give me something.
I know what I want to open it up with, but I think...
Listen, you came in here bright and early. You're part of the thing. What are we opening up with?
Okay, well, we have Volvo. We have Volvo.
What about Volvo?
Volvo is opening up and testing some new autonomous vehicles with their trucks on... I was reading the article this morning. It says that they're testing some of the new trucks that will be autonomous, but they did say that it was only for highway. The driver would drive it from the shipping point to the highway. Then the truck would take over during the highway. And then once you got off of the highway, the driver would take over.
Yeah, so they have partnered with Aurora Innovation Corporation. And that's the exact same company that PACCAR has already worked with as well. So using the same company, Volvo is the last major, though, manufacturer to get involved with this, to announce who they're going to kind of team up with. Volvo did have some problems earlier in the packaging that they were going to use with Aurora. So to your point there, absolutely, they are looking at getting it from the highway to the exit.
Right.
And they're talking about it has the ability to go out 300 meters. How far is 300 meters?
It's like
long.
Three soccer fields to help make decisions. I do say this, I'm going to work on getting somebody from Aurora in here to talk a little bit about that sophistication, about that technology, on how it's going to work with the trucks, because I think all of us have a lot of questions on that. Our drivers especially. Heck, I know I do, and you do the same. Drive safe. Yeah, I do, and it's 333 yards that I think that is the conversion, if I'm not mistaken, of on 300 meters. It's 333 yards.
All right. Hey, listen, I know it's a new month right now. We're in the month of April. We're going to start, we're not necessarily going to, we're not talking about like we did last month, hitting on the drug testing, right? But a quick reminder to you, listen, it's April 1st. No April Fool's Day. Listen, you can't do drugs. You can't drink alcohol and be inside these vehicles. I want to remind you one more time. It's just something you cannot do ever, ever, ever. And drive safe. We have a lot of the big trucking companies right now, the major companies, the big boys pushing for hair testing as well.
Correct. Hair follicle testing.
it shows a more expansive result from the driver.
What are your thoughts on that? I mean, so they're going out 45 days, and what they're saying is that they've got to find a way to make this industry safer. They've got to get rid of the problems, and they're calling what they call the problems in their minds are those drivers that are escaping through that have found the ways to hide through the testing results, right?
Yeah, and I think it revolves around some of the other drugs, not necessarily the some of the drugs that linger in the system for many days, but there are other drugs out there that don't linger in the system, but for a couple of days, for like 24 to 48 hours. And what they're trying to do is be a little bit more encompassing of those types of drugs, the speeds and the other drugs that will affect the body and affect your mentality and affect your driving ability. And then then all you have to do is not do it for a few days before you go to your new job, right?
So, question for you. So, one of the big arguments is going to be, hey, listen, it's the privacy or driver shortage already. What are your thoughts in using a hair follicle to find out what Drive Safe Dave did 45 days ago? And that may keep you from getting a job, or it may keep you from ever getting a job in this industry again.
Yeah, if you know you're signing up for the test and you know you're going to do it and you know what's required of the job and you carry a CDL, you know what you can and you can't do. I mean, it's that simple. I don't think there should be shortcuts when it comes to drugs and driving. I don't think there should be shortcuts when it comes to drinking and driving. I don't think there is anywhere that you can draw the line and say, you know what, this is the line in the sand. If you're on this side, you're safe. If you're on this side, you're not. I mean, to me, it's pretty much you do or you don't.
So what do you do then? So if and I know if Buckle Up Bob's not in here yet, but if I've been on vacation or I wasn't working for the last 3 months, and I did some pot 3 months ago or a month ago, let's just say, before I started driving again, can that be held against me as well?
It could be if you're being tested for it in a hair follicle test, yeah, because you're going to be able to it's going to be able to be seen.
And so I think those are some of the arguments that we're hearing, right? I mean, what if I'm not working? What if I'm in between jobs right now? And I did that, and once it comes up, I mean, that trucking company's not going to be able to hire them.
No.
You just can't take that risk, right?
You can't take the
that
risk.
Means they've done it before. They're probably, that's the logic that's going to go into it. So there's a lot of things on that. A lot of people too say, hey, it's the big boys trying to squeeze, companies like ourselves out of business because, they have the schools. They're going to keep funneling the drivers through them.
Absolutely.
And the more regulation that goes to trucking companies, and again, probably not our size, but a little smaller than us, the bigger the issue is, right? Because they can't compete. They lose the drivers.
And I don't think it's, I think some of them, they're self-mandating themselves, right? On the
a lot of them have been doing it for many years.
Yeah, they're self-mandating. I don't think
over 10 years.
Yeah,
but no, what they're trying to do also is get this thing pushed through. Much like the electronic logs, these are the same folks that pushed the ELDs as well, because they did it way before we did.
Right.
The big boys had the ELD units going forever. They were playing under a different set of rules than we were. Yeah, I remember this, Drive Safe Dave, and it's funny when you think about the ELD for a second, just to get off a little bit in a different tangent. But
I remember
the ELDs. I tell you what, before the electronic logs, those of us that didn't run those, we thought we had a niche. We thought we were better than the big boys. We weren't playing under the same rules.
Nope.
Our niche was we had a paper log.
Yeah.
That's what our niche was. Our niche was no matter what, we didn't have traffic. We didn't have detention. No. We never had any problems like that, like the big boys had.
We could always find time to deliver.
We didn't have service issues.
No, we could
back in the days when you had paper logs, you never had service issues as well. Right. They used to blame the big boys, the Swift, JB Hunt. It's like, man, they don't care about service. They're never on time. Well, we learned that it's a whole different game when you're running on the electronic logs.
There's new sets of rules.
So they pushed those rules through and eventually came through. And here it is now on the drug testing. I think they're just trying to do this, the same thing. And I'm all for it. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
I like it. I believe in it. I believe that, as a driver, you should want the same thing too. Drive Safe Dave, if a driver shortage happens because of something like this, what happens to our drivers?
Number one, when supply of drivers
Amen.
drops, then guess what? The demand increases and price rises.
So you know what? Again, the best driver is a safe driver.
Correct.
The best driver is a driver that doesn't use drugs. The best driver is a safe driver. And you know what? When this eventually happens, and it will happen, maybe you're retired by then, but it will increase driver pay. Why? Because if you don't do it, if you're safe, you're worth more to me than somebody else.
Yeah, you're absolutely worth more.
It's supply and demand.
Right. It's absolutely. You're going to get paid more. You're going to make more, and you're going to be worth more every day.
You will, and not to hair follicle test a little bit just to kind of jump back into this. So your buddy Tiger. Your buddy, he ain't got a head of hair on him anymore, right? So
safe from the follicle test.
But they have the results, and they're not releasing those. They're not saying why right now, right? So Tiger, they have it, but they're not saying why.
Hey, they would not. They just, and this is going to come out.
Privacy thing. And
this is going to be
somebody like Tiger had any privacy.
This is going to be the Tiger scandal. This is coming out. This is coming out. Don't think that somebody's not going to sell this to a news story. If I knew the answer to this and I said, hey, you know what? I kind of know what's going on, but for 10 grand, I might actually leak this story. I mean, what's going to happen? I told the truth. I mean, what do you think?
Well, I think maybe if I talked to Benjamin, my memory might be a little spurred. I might remember what happened.
I'm not just one Benjamin, many Benjamins.
So he's working with a certain privacy, yet Major has no privacy. All Major does, Major, for those of you who don't know, that's Biden's dog, right? President Biden's dog. Sorry about that. President Biden's dog. He bit his third victim.
That dude hasn't even been in the house very long, and he's running around.
How old is that dog?
That dog is 3 years old, and it is terrifying. If you look at this monster, this absolute beast of a dog.
Where's the privacy for Major, though? I mean, why did somebody have to tell on Major for biting somebody?
I guess as the taxpayers, we're gonna have to put a Secret Service guy on this thing, right?
No, this is the Secret Service right here.
It's one person
to protect everyone else, not just the dog. It's to protect everybody else.
And now he's averaging one bite a year, and it's only April the 1st. This dog's got to go got to go 8 more months out biting somebody to keep his average at 1 a year.
I don't know. You know what? It's a dog. Dogs bite. Especially they bite. Do they not bite? I mean,
I think it depends on how you train your dog.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you blame the parents, right? That's what I've always said. I don't ever blame Drive Safe Dave. Here we go. I'm going to get him mad at me here. Hey, but listen, here it is. It is
Starts
April
talking
the 1st.
about my mom again.
No, hey, April Fool's Day.
Okay, that works.
Not a soft joke there. That was.
Hey, where did April Fool's Day come from, Drive Safe?
I have no idea.
What? And you even admitted it?
I don't know.
I'm surprised you just didn't go with something on that. So today is April 1st, April Fool's Day. It is Driver Appreciation Day, Thankful Thursday as well. So, hey, we want to say thank you for what you're doing out there. It means a lot to us. And I don't think, I do think we try to say that as much as we possibly can. But it is our day to say thank you for what you do.
What you got?
Hey, I was just going to, kind of fill in on where April Fool's Day actually comes from.
Okay, Google guy.
Yeah, so from what I see here, some historians speculate that April Fool's Day dates back all the way to 1582 when France switched from the Julian calendar to the Gregorian calendar.
There you go.
And people were slow to get the news or failed to recognize that the start of the new year had moved to January 1st and continued to celebrate it during the last week of March through April 1st. And all of those people became the butt of jokes and hoaxes and then were called April Fools. And so now it is celebrated as this kind of joking day because of that.
Gotcha.
The old Gregorian to the Julian calendar.
Thursday, April Fools. We're not thankful at all. Just kidding. April Fool's Day, gotcha. But drive safe. Anything you want to throw in for our drivers today?
Hey, yeah, I got. Yeah, of course I do. I want them to be safe. I want them to be careful. I want them to be mindful. I want them to know that we're at 11 goal days. 11 goal days. We're building the streaks. We're building new streaks. We got an opportunity today to go even farther. So if you get an opportunity, if you have a chance, watch for the next guy as he's backing up. And when you have to back up, make sure you get out and you look every single time. We don't do the phrase that pays on a Thursday. We reserve the right to not do it today.
We can always change it up. It's Thankful Thursday.
Daryl, there's some traditions we don't change. I'm not moving Thanksgiving, and I'm not telling you that the phrase it pays on a Thursday. Both of these things happen on Thursdays.
What about the Benjamins?
Now we're talking business. What you got, Bob?
Not much. We got good weather today, folks. Great weather. Look at that. Hardly any wind going on. Not a whole lot of storms. A little bit of snow showers going to be up in Ohio and northwestern Pennsylvania and
But
New
light,
York.
though. But
Very
light.
light.
Yeah, very
just-
light dusting. I saw
Yeah,
that.
it's supposed to be warm up there too. So we've been talking about the severe weather, and so obviously this is tornado season for the South, and it's usually from March to May through May. And one thing I didn't know, of course, tornadoes can happen anytime and have, but typically they will happen between 3 p.m. and 9 p.m. During the day. So statistics have shown that. So you know that if you're going through a storm in there, that's probably got the best chance to produce a tornado during them hours. But again, they can happen at any time and have. But just, same as we're talking, slow down. We've got to slow down, and a lot of it's just bad habits, like you said, Dave. You've been driving 30 years, and the conditions have changed. There's more four-wheelers on the roadways. The highways, you all see it out there. They're all under construction, trying to widen them and add lanes because traffic isn't getting lighter.
It is not. In the cities and the highways and the byways, they're becoming more compacted. There's a lot more, and to me, what I would like to just tell everybody, there's a lot more inexperience out there. There's a lot more people out there that don't have the experience that the drivers have, right? They don't have the knowledge and the wherewithal to know what's going to happen to the vehicles, know what's going to happen up ahead, and are very unsure to their surroundings. In that, especially out on the highways, when you get out on the highways, there's a lot of the times that I would say a large portion of the four-wheelers truly don't know where they are. They know that they got to get to somewhere else, and they're not very aware of their surroundings, right? And they are very, and unfortunately, they're very distracted.
Absolutely.
And for whatever reason, Bob, it could be a phone call. It could be something inside the car. It could be somebody they're talking to inside the car. And they lose sight of the simple things that drivers see subconsciously, like signs and mile markers and knowing there's an exit coming and knowing the terrain and knowing where they are and what's going on, having passed this way many, many times, right?
Absolutely.
Knowing that construction is coming up, knowing that a bridge was under construction last week, it's probably going to be under construction this week, right? As you close in on the bridge. So drivers are very aware of that, especially if they've been through there like time or time again. They understand what the traffic conditions were last week, and then the week before. It's probably going to be similar this week in knowing those things and realizing that everyone else around you is unaware.
Absolutely. And I also think, I know speaking from my own personal thing for a long time, but I had two fathers, a father-in-law and a father that drove a truck. And so, we look at, a lot of the four-wheelers look at trucks as another vehicle and not as the truck and the danger that it can be. Where drivers, right, truck drivers, they know what they've got. Most of them that are worth any kind of weight in gold, they know how dangerous that 80,000 pounds can be. And so they look at it from a different view, but I just really think a lot of these four-wheelers get out there and it's just another vehicle. It's not a they know it's a semi-truck, but they view it as it's going to react the same as their vehicle, and it just can't. Not with 80,000 pounds and all that, the wind, the sails, so to speak, that can catch. And so I just think they've got to educate that, hey, my wife is notorious for camping out by your fuel tanks or right on the corner of your trailer, and the truck driver doesn't know what to do, And I keep telling, my kids are really good about, Mom, what does Dad say? It's the only time they ever can swear at us. It's the other word for crap. It's, hey, crap or get off the pot, Mom. Either pass him or back off and let him over.
Yeah.
And she thinks, because she's 3 to 4 feet behind you, that she's letting you know you can come over. I said, that's not enough. They're another 60 to 70 feet ahead of you. I said, you realize that, right? They can't tell that.
Yeah,
So-
and I think that unfortunately, our drivers or trucks are viewed as obstacles on the road, not necessarily partners on the road, right? Or not an opportunity to share the road and share the experience. They're there. They look at you at an obstacle. You're either driving too slow, or you're driving in the way, or you can't or they got to figure out a way to get around you or get in front of you or whatever it is. It's never about sharing the road. It's always about you're the obstacle, right? You're
Great point.
Yeah, and if I may add something in, as somebody who's not ever been in the trucking industry, I think now, knowing all the information that I've seen from the show and gathered from drivers and things, it almost makes me treat these semis on the road as if I'm driving next to like a freight train. I cannot stop this. I just need to get out of the way and allow them to do their job because they are transportation workers. You guys are moving this huge load of things onto the road. So it is my job as a four-wheeler to get out of your way and make sure that it's as safe for you as possible on the road instead of trying to cut everybody off and lose space, tailgate behind you or something like that, because that just makes it more dangerous for you and also for the products that are inside and everything else. It impacts a lot more people than if you're just cutting off somebody else on the highway, you know?
Yeah,
Great point.
Yeah, fortunately, you're being exposed to the four-wheeler, right? You're being exposed to the trucking industry, and you're getting more and more of the experience of the driver, and you're getting more and more of the experience of what's going on and what really transpires. I truly don't believe that people even know. I would say that probably 90% of the four-wheelers out there understand what 80,000 pounds is. They don't understand that the vehicle that they're in only weighs 4,000.
Yeah,
They don't even understand the relative difference. They see the size, right? But in a distance and shapes and speeds, you and I both know that those are relative and those change drastically, and your perception changes, especially when you're going at a high rate of speed, and it becomes a different thing. It becomes a different ideology. Unfortunately, they don't understand our experience as well. Every truck driver knows the four-wheeler experience because they drive their own cars, but that not every four-wheeler knows the 18-wheeler experience. So they don't understand, nor do they have the wherewithal. But be that said, we have to understand that the four-wheeler is ignorant of it and doesn't understand truly what's going on. And we have to do everything in our industry, and we have to do everything as truck drivers to ensure their safety, not along with ours, whenever we can and however we can, even to the behest of letting them do stupid stuff.
Yeah, absolutely right. And I love his analogy, and that's really the way to look at it. Just like you are not going to win any battle with a freight train.
No.
There's no vehicle. A truck won't, a car won't. Well, the cars usually are not going to win the battle with a semi-truck either.
No.
And you have to treat it almost like a freight train. You're just not going to win that battle. And it can only go worse. It's never going to get better for you. And so, and just for our drivers, I heard you and Rick talking about the hair follicle test.
Yeah.
I'm against that for exactly the reasons you said. Hey, if this guy's at home on his weekend, he can have beer and stuff. I'm almost for I know there's been some experiments. I'm almost for the thing, just like when you got to do a pre-trip, you have to blow into a breathalyzer or something, right? And that registers and says, okay, this truck won't let you, the ELD device won't come on unless, and that's almost better, because if you have to do that, like right now you have to take an 8-hour break, right? So if halfway through your shift, or 3 times, you got to do it beginning, middle, and end, that's going to probably do more to stop drinking and driving and taking drugs versus the hair follicle. Because, like you said,
well, I think the hair follicle test, and if I'm not mistaken, the hair follicle test is only for illegal drugs.
Okay,
only for legal
drugs,
right? Because it goes back not for beer and alcohol. It's not for that at all. It's only for illegal drugs, like, let's say, for example, cocaine, okay, or let's say, for example, methamphetamine, or
gotcha,
or some of the stuff that's run rampant in the industry for years, right? Those are the kinds of things that it truly can test for, and let's be honest. I don't believe them to be recreational drugs.
No, absolutely right. Well, then I'm all for that.
Okay, yeah, I don't. But beer and wine and alcohol, that is not going to be. That's not what the hair follicle test is about.
Because I really think alcohol is the big one, and I just think you got to do something.
Yeah, we had Alan Arnold. What do you got for us this morning, Alan?
Hey, good morning, y'all. I just wanted to let you know, because of that comment you made, you graduated from young man to Dylan. Now, when you can grow a beard, you'll become Mr. Dylan.
Hey, I've been growing a beard this whole time, Alan. I've been waiting for that blessing since I got hired.
That's a
good point, Alan. Thank you very much. Good stuff.
Anybody else? All right. Well, it's Thankful Thursday. So, hey, thank each and every one of you.
Oh, we got one more.
Hey, Eric, what do you got for us?
Hey there. Good morning to everybody. And I would just like to add to that hair follicle testing and drug testing and everything. And I would just like to say that I have absolutely no problem with the hair follicle testing, specifically for many of the reasons that have already been shared here, but mainly because of the fact that it does go back and it gives a history and an accounting of the habits that some drivers have. I'm going to say something that a lot of people would probably keep to themselves, but I have 23 years worth of recovery. And there was once a time where in this industry, I was that guy that was in that truck stop that was slinging the dope to the other drivers. And one day I fell asleep at the wheel for 3 exits. And thank God nothing happened to anybody around me or myself. And it got me to change the way that I was doing my own business. And I changed my life. I changed the lives that were around me. And I made myself a better person because of it. But that said, I don't drink, I don't do any drugs, and I'm living a clean life today because of the decision that I made. And if more drivers made those same decisions, we would have a much safer industry out here, and we wouldn't need the accounting that we're putting into place that we have today. That said, I got no problem with any of that. And bring it on, because it's going to make this here industry a lot safer.
I mean, Eric, I agree with you 100% in a lot of in a lot of what you speak. I truly believe that, the right to privacy ends when you step into a truck or when you fly an airplane or
harbor a ship through the Panama Canal
or Suez Canal. When you do certain things, there's certain responsibilities that you need to have an accounting in what Eric's talking about. I agree with you 100%. I know that it's not done yet. It's still on the table. Everyone's still talking about it.
It's coming, though.
I truly believe it's true, Eric. I believe it's coming. I think everybody agrees with you that is out there driving now in regards to the safety and what goes on. And really and truly, we're not talking about alcohol. We're not talking about a glass of wine or beer. We're not talking about whiskey or anything like that. That's dissipated in your body within a few hours. And that's not what they're looking for in the hair follicle. What they're looking for is illegal substances in it.
And Eric, thanks for sharing that, because I think more drivers need to hear that, because one of the things I hear a lot, especially with the speed, well, it's just a hard habit to break. But you know what? When you look at that, when you hear your story, breaking the speed habit has got to be way easier than what you threw away. And kudos to you for that awakening. And yes, thank the Lord that you lived through it so that you could be share that story with the rest.
Go ahead, Dylan. What else you got?
Gotcha. So we got Donald Scott, and then we have Alan Arnold. What do you guys got for us this morning?
Hey, on that one video, this is Donald. On that one video there where the car was stopped in the left-hand lane.
Yes, sir.
The flashers were actually on that car.
Okay.
And I did turn my flashers on whenever I seen that car stopping.
Good job.
It was almost like they were wanting to get off the interstate but couldn't get over. So they just stopped.
Versus going to the next exit.
Versus just going. You don't think the car was disabled. You just think they were trying to figure out a way to move to the right.
Actually slowly moving. I mean, really slowly moving. But they, I don't know. They should have just went on to the next exit, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a dangerous situation. Good job. And that, you know what? Turning on your flashes, that's exactly what I talked about. So
absolutely.
Good job, Donald. That's exactly what I was talking about.
Thank you, buddy.
Appreciate you. Alan, what you got? You wanted to say something again besides welcome to adulthood?
Yeah. Hey, look, Mr. Dave, you can testify to this. Back in the day, we used to have a bar attached to every truck stop out here. Okay.
Yes.
And they did not sell alcohol in the truck stop. And I wanted to bring this up because Mr. Bob asked the other day, why did they do that? Back in the day, it was called truck stop. They changed the wording to travel plaza so that they could get an alcohol license to sell to the
Correct.
general public.
And I understand it, and I understand that, Alan, because you and I both know in some of those residential areas and some of those places out there, that is the closest place around there, and it is an opportunity to make a buck, right? Because you have a population now around most of these travel plazas that can run up there and get what they need, and it becomes like the all quick stop, right, for them as well. They have just as many fuel pumps in the front now as they do in the back, right, Alan? Some of those places, there's just as many gasoline station pumps as there were, diesel pumps in the back, if not more.
And you're seeing more and more on these interstates out in the rural areas where, like you said, that is the closest place for them. It's closer than a grocery store in a lot of places.
So I get it. And to my point, Alan, and to, I think really, and I agree with you, they did change the name. They do that. But let's be honest. This is a personal choice. This is a choice made.
Yes.
This isn't a choice in ignorance. This is a choice. This is just like running a stop sign. This is just like, driving over the speed limit. This is just like doing the other things that are unsafe. You choose to do them, and regardless of the safety of the others around you. And this is just a bad mistake. And I mean, a bad choice that's being made. You never want to buy that alcohol when you're with the truck. And I agree with you 100%, Alan. It was done based on economics. I get it. I'm not opposed to them selling alcohol to the general public. I'm just not. I'm not opposed to them turning their dollar, but but it is the incumbent on the truck driver, right, to make the right choice.
Right. But what I was getting at is, that's how it used to be back in the day. And, we would run hard and we'd go in and shower and then step into the honky tonk, right, and relax for the weekend or whatever.
Oh, yeah. Willie's place. You've been to Willie's place.
Right, yeah, but like what Rick was saying. Yeah, let's not go there. Anyways, like Rick was saying, okay, the big dogs and the truck driving schools and the inexperience. Well, I think they all teamed up together between the truck stops, travel plazas, whatever, and they said, "Hey, look. Let's get rid of these mom and pop places that have all these alcohol joints and turn them into small travel plazas, get them in, get them out, let them do their rest, because they have to control the situations." And it's going to happen same way with the hair follicles, like you guys were talking. Everything is coming down to control. They're going to control the situation. And there's nothing we're going to be able to do about it except for one thing. He who has the money makes the rules. If you don't play by the rules, you don't get to play the game.
That's other discussion, Alan. I truly believe that market drives these things, not necessarily the dollar drives it. And I agree with you on a lot of the points. So I appreciate it. We don't have anybody else at this time. What's up, CJ?
I agree with Alan Arnold. I've been out here for a week or two, and the government has been trying to regulate everything. And I don't care if anybody agrees with me or not, because I got a few weeks out here, and I agree with him. And they've done it. They have done it, and so be it. You got to play by their rules now. The fun days is over with. Now it's a job, and just do the best you can, stay safe, and try to help the others. I used to have an attitude. Rick's heard me. Yeah, I used to pull kingpins for the people sleeping in the steel on. That's not, God don't like ugly. That's the way I look at it. And you just got to help they don't get the schooling they need at the driving school. So us veterans need to step up and help them. Like I did this morning, getting fuel. I got on my truck, walked up there, called me to everyone. Would you please pull up when you get through getting fuel? Oh yeah, I'm going to. This Iranian, I couldn't understand him, but he said his truck wouldn't crank. Well, once he got it cranked, he stayed right there. Well, I didn't mess with him. But no, what I'm getting at is it has taught me a lot. It's helped me with patience, and I look at it on the Christian side of being good to your neighbor, like y'all speak of, and try to do a good thing to whoever it may be. And I love BCB for that. Now, they don't have to talk about Jesus. They show it. And I love the prayer, and I love everything y'all do for us, okay? Say a prayer if you would. Chassis got an Uncle Ted. That cancer has hit him. It's all in his bones. A real good man. Leonard got us in. We're coming to Oklahoma City with dog food. So we're going to sit and visit him and bring the truck in when my 10-hour sleeper burns up. God bless you, BCB. And I talked to Magic Matt, and we got another sign coming. He called me and asked me about that sign, that warning sign. And so we'll have another one coming up pretty soon. God bless BCB and all the drivers. Y'all have a safe trip, fine ride. CJ loves all of you. Be careful.
All right. Thanks, CJ. And appreciate you, CJ.
So it's time for
Oche R. Hello, Miss Christie.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you this morning?
Good, thank you.
I was giving Christy I was giving you an applause.
I get an applause today. Yay.
Yeah, I was giving you an applause. Thank you for being great at human resources.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Want to mention today that just a reminder that anytime that you get a new med card, you do need to be sure that you are registering that with the state that you hold your CDL in immediately. You can, if you have any questions about that, you can contact Crystal Johnson. She is our new compliance assistant. She is at extension 171. But please make sure that you are getting that registered so that you do not get shut down. And today we have 2 birthdays and 1 anniversary. First birthday is for Kim Ryan and the other is for Slayman Mohammed. And then as an anniversary, we have one for Stacy Richardson. She's celebrating 2 years with BCB today.
All right, 2 years. Woohoo, Stacy.
And as usual, everyone, please, I know it's annoying. We've been doing it for over a year now, but please continue to do your part and wear your mask, wash your hands, use that antibacterial, and just stay safe and healthy. I appreciate everybody. I truly love all of our drivers. It is my pleasure to have the opportunity of coming to work every day. And I really just love hearing from everyone and speaking with them and helping in any way I can. And just very thankful for all of you. Have a great day.
Thank you, Miss Christie. Do appreciate that. Well, Dylan, it is, we've heard from just about everybody today. And what is it we normally do on Thankful Thursday?
Well, I think that means that we have a driver interview with somebody, and I think you know exactly who that is. If you want to go ahead and pull it up. Mr. Chris Higgins, are you here on the line with us, Chris Higgins? Chris Higgins, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
What's going on? Right. What's going on, Chris?
Oh, just sitting here at a rest area, finishing up my 10 hours.
Where you at?
Well, I'm in the southern part of Illinois, coming down 57.
What's the weather like today? Pretty? Sunny?
Oh, yeah. Sun shining, no wind.
Nice. Good for trucking, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, great day.
Well, Chris, you know what? You got nominated by a couple of people, a couple of your fans here, a couple of driver managers, both Tanisha and Heather both recommended you as the interviewee. And I just wanted to that's one of the reasons why you're here, because of how they spoke about you, and they wanted to hear a little bit more about you and what you got going on. So if you're willing and able, tell us a little bit about where you're from and what you know.
Well, I grew up in Greenville, Michigan, on a farm. We had about 900 acres tillable. We had run about 50 head of beef cattle. And then after I graduated, I got into building cell phone towers. I did that for almost 13 years and liked that because I did a lot of traveling. I got to see a lot of different places. The second company I worked for out of San Antonio, Texas, they actually had a government side of their company, and they allowed me to go to San Juan, Puerto Rico in the late 90s. I built the Doppler radar tower out there. I got to go to Venezuela to build a Air Force tracking tower. I got to go to Montana up to Kalispell National Park and do a tear down up there on one after they built a new one, and then just all over the place building cell phone towers.
And I'm just curious, it makes me, I just want to ask a question. Were you a iron worker at that point? Because it sounds like they were mostly steel. Were you considered an iron worker or just?
Yeah, pretty much is what that's what they classified you under. I mean, as long as you weren't afraid of heights and could stick a bolt in the hole and tighten it up.
So I take it, Chris, you're not afraid of heights at all.
No, I'm not. I've been up over 2,000 feet.
Yeah, there it's pretty high.
Yeah, oh yeah. Everything looks like little matchbox cars up there.
That's good stuff, man. Doing it up there with the wind and the not listening to a lot of chatter down below. That sounds like a lot of fun. That sounds exciting, actually. When you're in Michigan, Greenville, Michigan, where's that in the state exactly? So I'm just curious. So,
it's 30 minutes. It's about a 30-minute drive northeast of Grand Rapids.
Okay, all right, I got you. I was holding up my Michigan map here, and then trying to figure it out. My Michigan map. I was trying to follow it.
Yeah, you got to get that right hand up, and you put it right about in the center of your palm.
Michigan map. Okay. Oh, that's good stuff. Yeah, I had a friend that was from up there. Both not just in. I have a couple of friends that were from Michigan area, and both Algonac and I had a friend that went to school in Kalamazoo. Anyway, good stuff. Nice area, pretty area, boy. Michigan's gorgeous.
Yeah,
absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, except for the winters. The winters could be terrible.
Yeah. Yes, they can be. They absolutely.
I remember growing up, there was nothing but 8-foot snow drifts in the backyard.
Oh, you run around on a snowmobile at all, or?
Oh yeah, I got lots of experience with snowmobiles. And
I'll bet. That's good stuff. Hey, did you by any chance? So you're married, right?
Yes, I am.
You have any children?
I have 4.
What do you got?
My oldest is my daughter. She's 21 right now. She's married, and her husband's in the Army, and they're stationed at Fort Campbell in Kentucky.
Oh yeah, I know where it's at.
I have a 2-year-old granddaughter, and then I have 3 boys at home.
What are their ages?
20. The other one, he just turned 19, and then 13.
13. You do any sports? Did the boys? Did they do any sports?
Not much. They did some in middle school, but they didn't really do much in high school. My youngest just started doing basketball this last year and decided he really liked that. Now he's wanting to get into everything this next year.
How are you going to make all those basketball events? Because they play basketball all the time. How are you going to do so? Are you trying to plan on getting to see some of those?
Well, I just changed this past basketball season. When I just changed my off schedule. I just started taking Thursday and Friday, doing my reset then, and then I take off Saturday morning and run the weekends.
Right, I got you. Bending that schedule around to be a little bit more involved with the kids.
Yeah,
that's cool stuff. How long you been married?
Going on 14 years.
14 years. Pretty exciting. Where do you live exactly?
I live in Temple, Texas now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've been in that area. I've been in that area for about 17, 18 years.
Oh wow. So I'm saying that's kind of to me that seems like a little bit of a drastic change from the Michigan area down to Temple, Texas area. What kind of made that transition happen? Was that because of the San Antonio company?
Well, before the San Antonio company, also my parents were divorced when I was probably 8 or 9, and right at the end of high school, on mom's side of the family, her dad moved down to the Canyon Lake. And so she decided to move down there after I graduated, and they had a restaurant and bar that they opened there, and that's kind of what. And then just happened to be down there visiting, and then found that company in San Antonio, and I worked for them for over 10 years.
Oh, that's good stuff. So what turned you into truck driving? I'm just curious. How'd you get to the truck driving part?
Yeah, I've always liked trucks. When I was 16, my dad bought a truck for the farm there. The first one was I believe it was an 84 GMC cab over. Had the little 350 Cummins with a 13-speed in it that we used with a hopper bottom.
Nice.
And the first thing, of course, he made me do was we had a little grain storage barn there, and the inside was real narrow. And he used to like to back the hopper bottom inside that to keep it out of the weather. but there was only about maybe 4 inches on each side of the trailer. Once you got inside, then you'd have to stop the truck where you could at least open the door to get out. So he made me back it in there until it was perfect before he'd even let me drive it.
Wow.
But that's the same thing he also did with me when I got my license. I got a farmer's permit when I was 15. He put a loaded gravity wagon behind a half-ton pickup and put it in four-wheel drive, and it made me come up the circle driveway and back it up the hill into the barn before he'd let me drive it down the road.
Yep.
He figured if you can back it up, you can drive it forward.
Yeah, if you can handle it backing up, you can definitely drive it forward. That's one of the reasons they're in the road test here. We make sure everybody can hit a dock and everybody can put a trailer in a space. You know, just being able to hold on to the steering wheel in the highway is not necessarily, to me, that's not just truck driving, right? That ain't it. So I appreciate that. That's good stuff, man. And then when did you decide? So you got off of high rigging and then you went straight into trucking?
Not straight into it. I did some warehouse work in Waco for Romark Logistics, which they house all M&M Mars candy.
Right.
So it was a temperature controlled warehouse. I loaded and unloaded trucks for a couple of years there. We were living in Lott, Texas. I got tired of the drive back and forth all the time.
Right.
And then went to work for Wilbur Ellis. And he's the one that asked me if I'd be willing to obtain a CDL with a tanker, doubles, and hazmat. And I was like, yeah, sure. And so I went and got my license there in Cameron, Texas. Went in, took the test, and scheduled a road test, got my license.
Been driving ever since?
Yeah. And then I did it when I drove for them for about a year and a half, and hauling liquid and dry fertilizer. And then there was an hourly paid job, but they didn't pay by the miles or nothing. It was just hourly and overtime. And then I made a huge mistake and went to work for Warner on our Dollar General account. And that lasted about a year, and it about physically wore me out on loading those trailers by hand.
Yeah. Yep.
And then met a guy and got into hauling fuel out of Waco.
Uh-huh.
I did that for almost 7 years, and probably still would have been doing that, but the owner of the company came down with cancer, and he decided to sell everything off.
Right, I got you.
But when I started, I did a lease deal with Pam, and for a couple months it was pretty good. And then towards the end of 2019, I was on our GM dedicated account. GM, of course, shuts down at the end of the year for 2 weeks, and then they just bounce you around. But then you couldn't make any money because you weren't getting those dedicated miles.
Right.
And then the pandemic hit, and then they shut it down completely. And then first 3 or 4 months of the year got real rough there. And my wife was like, "Yeah, we got to do something different." And I just happened to be looking and came across BCB and called in one evening and left a message. And then Ryan called me the next morning, and that's why I'm here.
Good stuff, man. And we're glad to have you. I'll tell you, I was just going to ask you, what is it? And I know you've been changing your time around. So what is it you like to do when you're out of the truck? It sounds to me like you like to go do stuff with the kids and the family, right? During the week.
Oh yeah. We play basketball in the backyard. We grill, cook out. Every now and then we get a chance, we'll go do some fishing and whatever everybody wants to do.
Just glad as long as you do it together. Is that kind of the way it is?
Oh yeah, we like going down to the beach and finding a nice secluded area down in the end where if you don't have a 4-wheel drive, you can't get there. Just to hang out and be away from people.
Nice. So hey, Chris, I like to ask everybody when they're on the show and they're here, what is some of the favorite things that you like about the show, or what is the one favorite thing you like about the show? Because I know you're on it a lot. I am aware of that, but what is it you like? Probably some of the best things.
I love the safety feature about it. I mean, and now seeing the video and stuff since I've started, it was just you could hear y'all, but you couldn't see nothing. Yeah, I think if you actually get into it and listen to it, it will change the way you act and drive down the road.
That right there is a good testimony for what's going on here and what we're trying to do and what we're trying to build. And I sure do appreciate it a lot, Chris. If you had if you had an opportunity, if you had an opportunity to change something about the company that would make it better for everybody, if it was one thing that you could probably change, if you were the CEO today and you had an opportunity to change something about the company, what would it be?
I've only been in the office there a few times, and it feels like you're secluded, I guess, when you walk in, like you're limited. I'd make it a little more of an open door.
Yeah, I understand that, Chris. And you know what? We've talked about that. And there are certain customers that we have. We're a food grade warehouse. We're a food grade hauler. And there's certain safety requirements that have to be met. You even have to have a badge to get in and out to different areas. And some badges don't allow you into certain areas. So I get that. I understand that. And I do appreciate the comment. We try to make sure that we make it open to everybody. And I think that we try to make it to where you can come in and feel a little at home when you're in the office. We can't always allow you to the offices area, and definitely not the warehouse. But you know what? Maybe we do need to find a better way to see everybody. Hey, Chris, I just wanted to let you know that as I talk to everybody back there about you and what it is you do for the company, I'm telling you that what I heard over and over was good driver, good guy. Good guy, good guy. Not a better testament for me personally to believe that drivers are, good by nature. But to me, when somebody says that, and I hear that from more than just one or two or three people, it tells me that what it is you do, it means that you do everything you can to make it work, and you do what you can to make it work. And you basically are a great driver in the sense that you're out there on the road doing what it needs to be done. I appreciate you for being on the show. I appreciate you for coming in and talking and saying hi. And I wanted to say thank you personally. I wanted to say thank you to it being Thankful Thursday and opening up and letting us know a little bit more about you.
Well, that and the other thing is, my parents always told me that, if you don't like what you do, then it's not always worth doing. And, driving a truck and being able to get out and travel is something I really like to do. So if there's something you really like to do, you normally will try to do it better, and you'll be safer at it.
I appreciate it. And you know what? Truer words were never said. And I'm glad that you're here enjoying what it is you do out there on the road and being safe when you do it. Hey, if you get an opportunity, if you see Chris out there in 1018, you see him running around and you have an opportunity to say hi, say hello, or bump elbows or wave or whatever it is you do out there, make sure that you do that. Make sure that you say hi and make sure that you know that Chris is a good guy and he's doing what he needs to do to get the job done. Appreciate you and thank you for that. Have a great day, Chris.
I do appreciate you guys.
All right. Bye now. All right. That's Chris Higgins running in 1018 and having a good old time doing it and doing what needs to be done. With that, I'm going to go ahead and close with a quick prayer before we get out of here. I know the studio needs to open up, and I know they got a lot to do today to make things happen and to get things going on. With that, dear Heavenly Father, we humbly gather before you today to ask for your grace in all things. Father, we come before you today to ask that you watch over us, watch over our drivers, and you give them the safety and the best ability to make decisions to be safe each and every day. Father, we ask that you give us the courage to go out and do your will upon the world today as you see fit. Father, we ask that we get this ability to be a blessing upon somebody else in some way. Let us be a blessing upon someone else, however it may be, and whatever it is we do. Father, let us be safe, be courageous, and be willing to go out of our way to make it happen for somebody else out there on the road and whatever it is. Father, we also ask that you watch over and comfort those that are sick. CJ and his family, watch out and help anybody that needs it to be done as we go forth today. We know that many need your love and your comfort. Give them what they need and do what you can for them. Father, we ask all these things in your name. Amen. Hey, it's Thankful Thursday. We appreciate you. We love you. We want you to be safe out there. Be kind and be considerate and be a blessing upon somebody else today by not only taking care of yourself, but by taking care of the person next to you each and every time. With that, God bless, Godspeed, and drop the mic.